Don't freak out, Taylor Swift didn't leave Travis Kelce, she's not stealing signs for a team, and I don't even know if Taylor Swift likes baseball. But I do know one team loves Taylor Swift, it's the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are channeling their inner Swiftiness to go on their best winning streak of the season, and it's getting too wild to ignore. Here's all the details. All right, listen, when I was a kid, I was superstitious to probably an unhealthy level. I thought everything I did while watching an MLB game truly impacted the outcome of that game. But now I realize none of that really made a difference. So when Craig Counsell spoke to Taylor McGregor, the Cubs reporter, on August 27th about this new superstition and how a Taylor Swift candle was helping them win, I kind of scoffed at it. At the time, the Cubs had gone on a decent run, winning 7 of 10 games, but the competition wasn't very good, so I didn't buy in. But this whole thing has gotten too ridiculous to ignore. I'm honestly starting to believe that this candle has some magical powers. Here's the scoop. On August 16th, the Cubs came back to Wrigley from a rough 3-game sweep in Cleveland. This series also put the Cubs 4 games under 500 and 6 games back in the wild card. Most fans consider this series the white flag for the Cubs' playoff hopes for this season. But when manager Craig Counsell got back to his desk at Wrigley Field, he had a gift from a friend. It was a candle called "This Candle Smells Like Taylor Swift." And you can buy this candle almost anywhere on any online site for less than $20. The candle's also advertised to burn for about 50 hours. You'll learn why that's important here very soon. Now, was that candle ominously sitting in the middle of Counsell's desk, almost like the start of a Disney movie with a magic genie lamp or a glass slipper? Probably not. Now, I don't know the specifics of this, but I do hope it was marked anonymous or "you'll know the right time when to use this," something dramatic like that. Well, on that day, Counsell assigned his clubhouse manager Danny Miller to light it. From the sounds of it, Counsell, a pretty mild-mannered guy by nature, seemed like he was just kind of in a screw-it mood. Couldn't hurt, right? There's also some Swifties on the Cubs team, so I'm guessing maybe there was some peer pressure involved. And on that day, on August 16th, the Cubs held a pretty comfortable lead for most of the game, but in the 9th inning, the then closer Hector Neris gave up 3 runs and the lead, so much for a lucky candle. But this ended up setting the stage for a dramatic walk-off victory and the first walk-off of Seiya Suzuki's career. Okay, not a pretty one, but a win is a win, so you have to light the candle the next day, right? Absolutely. Well, they did, and again, a 1-run victory for the Cubs. This went on for 11 games. The Cubs won 8 of those contests and outscored their opponents 73-44 during that stretch. All the while, they hash-marked every single win on the candle, which, by the way, you can see that this candle is actually made in Chicago. Coincidence? But the true magic of the candle came on the next day on August 28th. Chicago was going for a sweep in Pittsburgh. They had a very tough customer to take on in the NL All-Star starting pitcher Paul Skeens. And while the Cubs did get to Skeens a bit in the first couple innings, they couldn't hold on to it, and Kyle Hendricks couldn't keep them in the game. Hendricks didn't last 2 innings. The Cubs eventually found themselves down 10-3, and once again, it looked like they could not finish off a sweep. But Cubs backup catcher Christian Bethancourt, who I'm really unsure if he's a Swiftie or not, had the game of his life as he tallied 6 RBIs in the 7th inning on a 2-run homer in the 7th, a 2-run double in the 8th, and a go-ahead 2-run 2-out single in the 9th inning. The Cubs became just the 4th team all year to come back from a 7-run deficit and win 14-10. Credit, of course, goes to the Taylor Swift candle, and by the way, I did an entire breakdown on this game. You should definitely check it out after this video is done. But even during this crazy run, the Cubs only gained 1/2 of the game in the standings to the Red Hot Braves. Hey, but nothing the Swiftie candle can't help. Chicago marched into the nation's capital and swept a 3-game series from the Nationals, make it 12 wins in 15 games, by far their best 15-game stretch of the year. Meanwhile, the Braves lost 2 of 3 to the Phillies, and suddenly the Cubs were just 3 games back of a playoff spot. But on September 2nd, Cubs reporter Taylor McGregor gave some eerie news about the candle. Now, remember how I said that this candle only lasted 50 hours? Well, those 50 hours had come to an end. And of course, every candle burns out at some time, but would a new Taylor Swift candle of the same size, price, and flavor do the job? Craig Counsell thinks so. When asked earlier in the week by Cubs broadcaster John Boog Shambi about the possibility of it burning out, Counsell said, "We're prepared. We have another one on standby." So McGregor, in her report during the game on September 2nd, said that the Cubs held a lighting ceremony before the game for the new candle. This is getting pretty serious, but would it be enough to keep the streak going? Well, through 7 innings, it looked like a no-doubter. The Cubs were taking care of business against the struggling Pirate squad, a 3-0 lead. Jameson Taillon had looked like a complete ace on the mound, but in the 8th inning, in a matter of 16 pitches, The lights went out on this run. The Pirates hit 2 home runs to take a 4-3 lead and silence the crowd at Wrigley. The Pirates hand the Cubs a devastating 5-3 loss and an end to this run. Or is it over? Yes, the Cubs lost this game in shocking fashion, but with 24 games left in the 2024 season and a 3.5 game deficit, can this new Swifty candle take them to the promised land? Let me know what you think in the comments, and make sure to watch my breakdown of the 14-10 comeback for the Cubs in Pittsburgh. It just popped up on your screen.